Well, good day, all. Ira Epstein with your evening metal report. And this is for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. Well, tomorrow morning, you're going to get the Mortgage Bankers Association numbers with their weekly market indices, and that'll come out at 6. Remember that rates were falling prior to Saturday when the U.S. attacked Iran, so we might see some favorable numbers. But since then, obviously, the past 48 hours, interest rates have gone up rather sharply. ADP, the U.S. private sector jobs net data, comes out Wednesday at 7:15. They're looking for it more than double the January gain of 22 back to 50,000. The ISM Supply Management will release their February service sector index at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. Expect the index around 53.5 compared to the January 53.8 reading. As you can see, looking at the market, the gold market gave up quite a bit today. It was down at one point over $200 an ounce. You were down sharply in the silver. Copper was down back into the 580 area. This is a market that was just over $6 basically. And platinum gains up. The dollar got up to the 99.65 level and pulled back to close still 67 higher roughly at 99, but that is quite a bit that it gave back in the markets. Bonds and notes, well, they've got their legs under them again. That's what I want to say. The market that has been the wild card is obviously oil and the heating oil and all the energy markets. And the reason for that is logical. The Strait of Hormuz is at this time closed. Now, I did read something today during the day. I had gone to a Cubs game with my buddies, and on the way back in the car, I read that President Trump is apparently ordering that the U.S. government provide insurance through the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know if this is an idea that he's floating, a reality, with naval escorts to try to open it up. France is sending an aircraft carrier now into the area. So this is all good. And as you saw, the U.S. has suspended trade with Spain. The president said extremely unhappy with the U.K. and their response to what's going on. Germany's Chancellor Merz was with the president today, and obviously Germany's right behind what the U.S. is doing. So we'll see what they are offering as well. But this isn't a situation that is just about the United States. I don't understand what's wrong with these people. If Iran has a nuclear weapon, they will terrorize every city that their missiles can get to. It's that simple with a nuclear weapon. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's a radical element, and they cannot be allowed to hold it. If the people want to keep that radical element in control, that's up to them. Should they be allowed to have ballistic missiles that can make it all over the place to deliver that? Absolutely not. In the gold market, well, we can see the gold backed off, and you can see right now for the week, the market is down nearly 2%, not up, down 2%. And that's because of the huge drop you just saw in the marketplace on a daily today, down $187. And that's a bounce off the low. You went as low as $5,005. You came back $123. I mean, that's pretty amazing as to what it did. And I warned people on Sunday. I said, if you go chasing this market Monday, you may find yourself in dire problem. And that's what happened to those people. The market came out of an uptrend as a chartist. To me, you have a higher high and a lower low on a daily chart. Weekly charts are a bit different. When you take a look at what it did, the market's managing each time to close over the red line, which is the 18-day average. So that defines bias. It is certainly bullish. When we take a look at Bollinger Bands, I teach you, and I teach what I preach. The market stays within Bollinger Bands 95% of the time. However, when they narrow in like they did here, or maybe a new amount of narrowness that's starting to develop here, the markets do try to break out of that, and the only way they can do it is getting themselves into an overbought condition. Well, in the situation of gold, if we take a look at this, if you look at it in the bottom left, day one of embedding, day 2, day 3. You never buy on the third day. You're always waiting to see how the market does, and there's a moving average I teach to use for that. By the time you got to it, you would not have been buying because you had lost the embedded reading. And all the goal was to come back to the 18-day average and try to hold that. The gold-silver ratio is still favoring the silver. I think you can see that. And when you look at the silver market, you have the higher highs, lower lows. And again, it's back to the 18-day average of closes and fighting its battle at that number. And the copper went up 2 days ago, 3 days ago now, hit the upper Bollinger Band on Friday. And this is a market that is now coming down and almost hit the lower bands right here. So these markets are treacherous, and they should be in a time of what we're in right now. You don't know what's quite going to happen. The U.S. claims they're taking out and degrading every hour by the hour Iran's capabilities. Well, how do you stop drones that you can put in a car trunk that costs $35,000? It's loaded with explosives, and you can let it go from anywhere. It's a suicide drone. It's not meant to return. It's meant to go blow something up. How do you deal with that? You're trying to tell me you're going to fire a $200,000 or a $2 million missile at it? Either one? I don't think so. So these are problems that the market still has to deal with, and it's why I'm not bearish to metals, but buying that news. I've been around this game now since '69, so it'll soon be 60 years. The answer is no. In the dollar index, so here is a market trying to break out. Now, yesterday, if we take a look, the market finished at 98.30, 370, under the upper Bollinger Band. That's not a breakout. Today's the first day where it's over it, but not in the top part, and it's a market that is overbought. Nah, I'll wait for it. I think the market gets a good shot of pulling back into the Bollinger Bands, and you get a shot from there. So a parting note. Just remember, if you want to get our information and see what I'm telling my clientele and so on, move your cursor to the top of the video, give it a click, it'll take you to the website. Go to free offers if you want there. If you want to see the buy and sell recommendations, go to the research, it's in that area. You can click over here, it'll be on YouTube, and you can be taken to that area as well. And remember, just go to iraepstein.com. Everything you need is at that point. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great day. I'll catch up with everybody on Wednesday.